Recording in progress.
All right, so grab my yoga block. Good morning, everyone. Let's start by taking the block between the knees and the thighs this morning. And as we gently press into the block with the knees and the thighs, we are encouraging a lot of different muscles to wake up that help to pull into the midline of the body. Let's start by taking one hand onto the belly and another hand up onto the heart. And let's just begin to monitor the breath. We can always look down towards the floor as if you had an egg on the top of your head. You want that egg to topple off the head and down to the floor. Closing the eyes is always an option. Whenever we close the eyes, it gives us an opportunity to focus on introspection, and it also gives us an opportunity to feel for the breath, connecting a little more to the body. As you inhale, imagine there's a balloon in the belly. As we breathe in, that balloon is filling with air, so our stomach begins to push out, and we'll build that breath up to the chest, lifting the heart just a little bit. As we exhale, we soften the heart, and then we pull the stomach in, maybe even exaggerate the exhale and contract the abdomen so that we get every bit of breath out. Making that seamless. Each inhale, filling the belly, pulling the breath up through the ribs, up to the heart, lifting the collarbones. Exhale, softening the heart, softening the center trunk of the body and the ribs, allowing the belly to soften and tug the navel in, having more core awareness. Inhaling belly, ribs, heart. Exhaling heart, ribs, belly. Now begin to add a pause after the exhale, just a small pause. Inhaling from the belly up to the heart. Exhale, softening the trunk of the body from the chest down to the belly, then pause. Inhaling in through the nose as much as possible. And then exhale as if you're whistling. Inhaling in through the nose. Exhale from the mouth. Maybe just two more. We can return to this full body, 3-part breath at any time. One more, rolling the breath up through the lungs and then rolling it out the body. When you're ready, lower both hands down. Let's have the palms forward with the shoulders rolled down and back. As we inhale, we're taking only the left hand back, reaching back, looking over our own left shoulder, and then circling that arm straight up towards the sky. Imagine you're holding on to 100 helium balloons. Let's shift the weight over into the outside edge of the left foot. Inhale, reach up, stretching out from the armpit. Exhale, sweep the arm back, gentle trunk rotation as we lower the left arm down. Let's do that with the right hand. Inhale, taking it back, looking over the shoulder, reaching up. Pause, exhale in place. Inhale, shift into the right foot and lift from the armpit. Exhale, bring the arm back and circle through the trunk of the body. Let's try both hands. Inhale, sweeping back, opening through the heart. Exhale, palms forward, sweeping back and lowering down. We're keeping that rhythm a few more times, matching up the movement of the body to each inhale and each exhale. Because this is repetitive in nature, we can always close the eyes once we've seen the movement, once we've matched up our visual to the instruction, to the spoken word. We can close our eyes and tune in a little more to the feeling that we have in the movement. There's more to feel than there is to see in yoga. And really, we're trying to feel our way through the class, noticing any tiny bits or shifts in sensation. And those tiny bits and shifts of energy are how the body communicates to us. So yoga is all about becoming, a master interpreter of sorts. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale back. One more, flowing with the arms. Inhaling both arms up and overhead, extended mountain. Imagining we're holding onto a bowling ball. Begin to squeeze into the block with just a fraction more of effort, not too much. In fact, whatever your maximum effort is, try doing maybe 20% of that today, not too much. Let's shift forward and back. We might want to look down towards the floor. This could provide added stability to the physical body. Looking down and lowering the chin really does affect the optic nerve and visual cortex in the brain. As we begin to look up, maybe look ahead, we may notice that the body is shifting slightly to adapt to that shifted gaze. We could always pause with the heels lifted, just enough to swipe a credit card under the feet. Keep pressing into the inner blade of the foot and pressing in with the knees. Try the 3-part breath, breathing down into the belly, through the ribs, up to the heart, and reach a little more with the fingertips, being stretched up towards the sky. On the next exhale, drop the heels. Let's take the arms out to the sides of the body with the palms down. Bending our knees deeply, we get access to the hips, pressing the tailbone back, and then bringing the hands onto the thighs, keeping a flat back. Let's pull the elbows in tight and slowly begin to lower down, coming into a supported forward fold, Uttanasana. We'll shake our head yes, and turn the head left and right. Maybe walking the hands down towards the shins, maybe letting the hands hang loose, closer towards the floor. As we exhale, let's breathe out from the throat, open the mouth, and soften the jaw. Doing that several more times. Inhale in through the nose, exhale, sigh of relief, remembering to really relax the jaw. There's a connection between the jaw and the hips, craniosacral connection. So the more we relax the jaw and the throat, the greater potential there is to relax your hips. When you're ready, slowly walk the hands to the shins and then up to the thighs. Let's create a neutral or flatter back, supporting the back with the hands. Pulling the elbows in tight, begin to straighten the arms so that we're propping up the ribs and propping up your collarbones. Lifting the chin just a little bit. We're in a standing back bend or a standing cow expression. Breathe into the center of the chest. Exhale, lower down to neutral. From neutral, inhale, standing cow. Breathe into the center chest. Exhale, relax neutral. One more. Inhale, supporting the back bend. And exhale, relax. In yoga, the fountain of youth is the back bend. From here, we'll extend the arms out like an airplane, pressing into all 4 corners of our feet. Spread your toes out. Gloria. When you're ready, inhale, reach up. Looking up, smiling. Advanced version of everything. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, take the arms back and around. Palms come up. Retract the shoulder blades. That means act surprised. It's like a piece of ice down the back of the shirt. And then bend the knees. Access to the hips. Flip the hips back and come down. Don't try to keep a flat back. I know in a lot of traditional fitness classes, they tell you to push your back against a wall. That's going to jam up your sciatic nerve. It's going to create a lot of pain. Relax your jaw. I see you back there. From here, inhale, come up. I know even without mirrors, I've turned into my mother. Got eyes on the sides, front and back of my head. Pull the shoulders back, axe the prize, elbows in tight. Why? Because it's going to tighten this area right here around your lymph nodes. Come down. One more time. Inhale, come up. If you feel like you're in a funny position, you are. This is not like some sort of position you would get into for like a family photo, okay? You wouldn't be like, hey, take my picture. I look hot. I'm looking hot. All right, so holding here, let's shift forward and back again. Noticing that we're taking what's called a linear approach with this, which means the body does one thing, and then we do another thing, and we add another thing. So we've already practiced shifting forward and back. Now let's shift and maybe lift those heels again, just enough to swipe a credit card. It doesn't have to be a lot of a shift. Most women, our center of gravity is a little more forward. So as we lift the heels, we can take a lot of pressure off the knees. You might even come down a little more into that squat. If you feel it up in your hip or thighs, you're doing it right. Drop your heels, hands on the thighs, straighten the legs. Let's take the block to the top of our mat. Inhaling, reverse swan dive, coming all the way up. Exhale, take the arms back, relax. Let's step to the top of our mat. Seeing that the feet are open about the width of the pelvis bones. Wherever we imagine hips width to be, bring the feet in one time from hips width. This is known as a pelvis bone alignment. This is a straighter alignment. A stacked bone or stacked joint is the safest. From here, hands come to the heart, Anjali Mudra, the seal of physical reverence. Take a moment and bow the head. Breathe into any part of the body or parts of the body that we know are healing today. And maybe it's not a specific part of the body. Maybe it's something going on in our lives emotionally. A lot of emotions can live in the hips, just like anxiety can live in the gut. Stress and high blood pressure lives in the heart. A lot of emotional energy can be hoarded in the hips and pelvis. This is a place that either needs to let go or needs to ultimately release different energies. Big inhale. Exhale, let go with the breath. Every exhale, our body is showing us that it is easy to let go. Inhale, exhale, let go. The practice of letting go in yoga is known as aparigraha. If you would take this comparative to practices in Christianity it's to not have greed or non-covetousness. In yoga, we say instead of not doing things, we say do things. Let go. Big inhale, aparigraha. From here, let's step our left foot back, toe to heel, keeping a little bend in the right knee. Inhale, take the arms open, pull the elbows back, and maybe lift the chin to look up towards the sky. As we exhale, we look forward, anchor the gaze, push off, lifting heel to toe, and plant the feet at center. Right foot goes back, toe to heel, left knee is bent, inhaling to open. Exhale, coming forward, lifting up from heel to toe, finding mountain. Let's do that several more times. This will be our repetitive vinyasa or flow. With the repetition, we can begin to tune into the different mechanics involved here. As we step back, it's toe to heel. Back leg straight, front knee bent. As we pull away, we peel up, heel to toe. Toe to heel. Shifting forward, heel to toe. Now, at some point, we could close the eyes with this. Closing the eyes while we are standing still is usually a little easier for the brain and the nervous system to execute. When we start to move, it can create a little more of a balance challenge. There's science in this, a lot of science to back it up, right? Not just yoga, juju. There's other stuff. So To make your balance easier when you close your eyes, what you do is first you look down, past the cheeks and past the nose. And really, we don't see with our eyes, we see with our brain. It's our brain that interprets things. So then we can close the eyes and see through the mind's eye. So you're still visualizing whatever it is we interpreted with the eyes open. Seeing through the mind's eye. And it is a specific part of the brain that can see for us. Continue to step toe to heel and heel to toe. Maybe change the arms up. Maybe sweep the arms up, coming to a full warrior one, and then exhale down into mountain. Inhale, sweep it. Exhale back and around. Let's do at least one more on each side. Just feeling that we're able to even it up in our own bodies. Eventually, we'll pause with the left leg back and the right leg forward. Arms extending up towards the sky, holding in a traditional warrior one, Virabhadrasana. We're bending the right knee. As we look down, all of our toes are still visible. If we cannot see our toes, straighten the right leg a little more. From here, let's sweep the arms behind us, stacking the left arm on top of the right arm. We could always lace the fingertips together. That's very common, but you don't have to. This is a nice way to protect the rotator cuff and respect the shoulders. From here, as we inhale, let's pull our shoulders back. So it's that little bit of a surprise. Dropping the shoulders down, lifting the chin, gazing to where the wall meets the ceiling, or even looking up just a little higher. Press into the inner blades of the feet. Continue to spread your toes out. And imagine you have a yoga block between your knees, but you also have an elastic band around your thighs. So there's pressing in and there's pressing out. I know, I saw it. Some of you, your face said it all. But it's possible. Imagine your knees and the inner blades of your feet are pressing down and in, and then pull up your kneecaps and try to press out with your thighs. The energy pulling in with the energy pulling out is what makes this yoga. Finding what are the opposite energies that can coexist. When you're ready, let go of any tension in the legs, shake it out. Let's straighten our right leg. Inhale, both arms come up, warrior one. Exhale, arms go out like a T. Both legs stay straight with a micro bend in the knees. We're flipping the hips back. Bringing our hands down onto the front thigh, lengthening through the spine, holding here in a supported pyramid pose. Right now, we're supporting the spine. As we begin to use the breath as a tool, we will exhale and lower down a little more. Big exhale, just a tiny bit. Inhale, rise up a little bit, and exhale, lower. So working with those elements of expansion and contraction. Inhale, expanding the lungs. Exhale, lowering down, using the exhale to soften the body. We have our yoga block in front of us. We could reach forward for that yoga block, maybe placing both hands on top of the block. The block might come in a little closer to the body so that we're able to press straight down into that yoga block. When you're ready, bend the right leg, keeping the left leg straight. From here, slowly walk both hands up onto your right thigh, keeping the left hand on the thigh. You might want to turn the left fingertips towards the right. Reach the right hand forward as if you're going to shake hands with someone. Act surprised, because already as we start to turn in with the shoulder, it kind of crunches or contracts the middle spine. So with the right hand forward, inhale, take the right hand up, And now circle back, shaking hands with someone behind us. Approaching maybe at 45 degrees towards that right hip. Now, when you're ready, turn the right thumb down, bend the elbow, and place the knuckles by your low back. So our body just practiced this movement. Inhale, drawing the right shoulder back and pressing the left shoulder in. Keep pushing down into the inner and outer blades of the feet. Breathe out from your throat. Inhale into the upper right lung. Exhale from the throat. One more inhale and exhale. Let's bring the right hand around and forward, looking down to find our yoga block. We're going to move into a balance pose now. Everyone has a tipping point in balancing poses. No one ever said I moved slow with so much awareness that I fell over and got hurt in yoga. Right? Right. So we're going to tune in to every single little micro sensation. And when your body says no, the ego is not going to override that. There are a lot of people who try to do things in yoga because it's ego driven, not body driven, but the body's the boss, right? Actually, the soul is the boss. But we're going to give it over to the body for today. Let's come forward. If the block feels easily accessible, come down to the block. Now, as I come down to the block, I just noticed that my right hip started screaming at me. So you will not see me holding my block today. You're going to see my hands up here because my right hip said, absolutely not, Skila. Absolutely not today, right? And you want to listen to your body when it whispers before it starts yelling at you, right? Okay. From here, let's shift forward. We're peeling up the left heel. Our body has been practicing this heel lift. Maybe we roll up onto the tip of the left toe. And maybe we stay right here. We are weight bearing heavy on that right leg. Lots of bone density, lots of stabilization work right now. Noticing if there is a curiosity or an impulse to lift your left toe off the floor. It could be scary, but you do it anyway. It could be scary because it's a genuine fear that needs to be respected and you don't do it, right? So when do you really act on that courageous spirit? When do you listen to the soul and say it's time to just stay? There's nothing done on the mat that we don't do in real life. Relax your jaw. We are working through hips and pelvis, so craniosacral connection. The jaw and the hips can get tight. Let's slowly let that back leg come down. Walk the hands up onto the right thigh and come up to standing. Ooh, do a little cha-cha. Little cha-cha or bachata, belly dance, whatever, just shake it off. Shake it off, shake it off. Did anybody feel it in their right leg, right hip? Okay, good, that's what we want. Let's reposition that block for the sequence, doing it on the other side. Stepping to the top of our mat, our feet are at the width of the pelvis bones. So again, if we find hips width, we're gonna walk those feet in one time. Sliding the right foot back. Little tiny rotation in with the right heel and bending the left knee. Taking the arms up and overhead, warrior one. Looking down, noticing that all of our toes are visible on the left foot. Left knee is bent, right leg is straight. Inhale, pull the thumbs back. And if you're wanting to work a little more on your upper spine posture, rotate the hands. So with your right hand, it's like you're putting in a light bulb and your left hand is taking out the light bulb. Inhale, reach. Exhale, option to close the eyes. Inhale, reach and open. Lower the hands down. Taking this time, the right hand on top of the left hand. As we inhale, we continue to lunge forward. Pull the shoulders back. Press down into the feet and lift through the crown of the head and the ribs. Exaggerate the breath in the center of the chest and ribs. Bow out the chest, lift the chin, lift the gaze. Option to close the eyes at any time with the neck open and with the gaze lifted. It might be a little wobbly when we close our eyes. One more big inhale and bigger exhale. Taking the arms out like a T, bending that left knee a little more, keeping the back leg straight. We're pushing our hips back and bringing our hands down onto the front left thigh. Continue to press down into the inner blades of the feet. Pull up through the pelvic floor. Good. Active lift up the midline of the body. Option 2, straighten that left leg a little more and maybe walk the hands down to the shin. Supported pyramid expression. The lower we go, chances are the more demanding the stretch is going to be on the backs of the legs. You could even feel it on your inner thighs a little bit. Continue to press your right hip forward, push into the inner blade of the right foot, and imagine you're trying to press your left hip back, pushing into the inside blade of the left foot. Try to lift your knees. It sounds weird, but try to lift your kneecaps. Pull up through the pelvis, surprise breath. Maybe we take the hands closer to the floor, relax the head and the neck, or we can put both hands onto our yoga block, relaxing the head and the neck. Let's shake the head yes, and turn the head left and right. Exhaling from the throat. When the body is ready, let's all bend that left knee a little more, walking our hands up to the shin and then to the thigh, establishing a neutral or flat back. Keeping a bend in the right knee, left leg straight. So if you imagine behind your left knee bent, right leg straight. Imagine behind your right knee, there's a spider. Get it off, okay? Get it off. Pop your leg back, pop it back. From here, take the right hand, turn it towards the left. Let's reach with the left hand. Surprise. Inhale, come up, holding on to 1,000 helium balloons. Keep the bend in the left knee. Keep pushing back in the right heel. Circle it around so the trunk of the body is rotating. As soon as we circle, we're stretching from the inside arch of the right foot, inside of the right knee, up to your right hip, across to your left chest. Turn your thumb up as if you're going to shake hands with someone. If the hand is rotated at all, it's going to pull on your shoulder and your fascia. Fascia, fascia, fascia. Let's bend the elbow, turn the thumb down, knuckles to the low back. Keep bending the front knee, center of gravity forward. Inhale, roll that left shoulder back and look over to the left. Don't forget to breathe. A lot going on here. The breath is going to be really probably a little more shallow because we're squeezing so much through the trunk. So only trying to breathe into that upper left lung. Big inhale. Exhale, slowly come around to center. Both hands are on that thigh. From here, flip the hips back again. Walking the hands down towards our block, straightening out the left leg, and noticing with traditional pyramid what your left hip is saying to you. Hopefully it's not cursing. If your left hip is saying 4-letter words, walk your hands back up to your thigh. We all have a little internal voice that comes from the body, from our own organic intelligence. If that little voice gets aggressive with you, it's because we are getting aggressive with ourselves, right? Now, when we're ready, we may want to shift forward, bending that left knee, peeling up the right heel, bending the right knee, and we may even come onto the tippy toe. Breathe. Out of curiosity, making the choice to maybe keep the toe on the floor, or maybe hover it just a little bit away from the floor. The bigger pose is not always the better pose. More is not more in yoga. If you do more things with your body, you're sucking energy that could be going to repairing your brain, repairing your emotional layer of energy. So everything doesn't have to be real physical. Let's all lower that back foot, bending both knees a wee bit, walking the hands up safely to the thighs so we can come up to stand, and then move around. Get that energy moving in the hips and the thighs. From here, let's inhale the arms up and overhead. Exhale, swan dive, take it down. We might want to use our yoga block to assist transitioning down to the floor. I'm pushing straight down with both hands into the block. From here, I'm sliding my left foot back. I'm walking my right foot out to the right edge of the mat with my right toe turned out and my right heel turned in. So I have a little bit of a split lunge going on here. I'm going to bend my right knee, moving towards the right, pivoting on my left foot, and come down at a little bit of an angle. It's different. It's just something different to try. Let's take that other leg back, both legs back. We're not staying on the knees. Let's bring the feet to one side and come down to seated with our yoga block. Let's make a small perch, rolling up the back of the mat. And we'll sit on the very edge of that perch. We could always use a blanket, a pillow, bolsters sometimes are helpful. Let's all take the block between our knees, sitting nice and tall. Bringing our hands back, we want to keep the thumbs and the fingers in the same direction as the feet. It's not wrong to turn your hands out and have your fingertips back. It can become problematic over time if your hands are back with pressure into the joint. So we recommend turning your hands around if we're going to put pressure. Now, if the wrists are feeling a little sensitive to this, because this can be very hard on the wrist, a little invasive, you could always make a fist with your hands, and it would be thumbs in the same direction as your toes. You would put the flat part of the knuckle on the floor. No matter where we are with this, we're leaning back a little bit, straightening the arms. There could still be a bend in the elbows. Let's all lift our toes. Our kneecaps just said thank you. Thank you. Squeeze into the block with the heart lifted. Act surprised. Because just when we think we have our tallest, proudest posture, the body goes, I got a little more. Could be a little prouder. Shoulders press away from the ears. Let's push with our right heel, maybe bringing that heel up with the shin and the calf parallel to the floor. And remember to smile, because your upper quadricep connected to your pelvis and hip might be catching on fire about right now, because we already did a lot today. I promised chakra one. Chakra one. Slowly bring it down. Let's push through our left heel. Remember to smile, because your body's like, oh, we like it. We like it. We really like it. Mikey, we like it. Okay. Y'all remember that? Mikey likes it. There's a whole generation missing out on some of the best commercials ever. Extend. God, life cereal sounds delicious. I'm always fasted when I teach yoga, so I'm always hungry. Extend. We're just going to keep pushing through the heel. Let's refine it a little bit. Refining it means I'm going to get nitpicky. Y'all know what nitpicky is, right? Isn't that the best Southern saying ever? Gross. All right. So look at your foot and imagine you're going to roll your kneecap in with your thigh. It looks like the heel is pressing out and the toe is pressing in, but we are not moving the ankle or the foot at all. A lot of women can get super Cirque du Soleil with it. We have super bendy ankles. Try not to move the foot or the ankle. By the way, this is hard. I'm not going to try to sugarcoat it with any transformational language today or positive affirmations. It's hard. And it's very important for us to recognize when something is just hard. And you just go, it's hard. Take a big breath. This is hard. Exhale. And then relax and let it go. Do you like when people go, not hard? I'm like, okay, now you're lying. Yoga, satya, be honest. Satya, be honest. Let's extend the other leg, holding it there. The higher the leg goes, the more demanding this is. So rather than just jumping out of it, try lowering it so that we work with endurance. Where's the posture? Surprise breath. Where's the inhale? In the heart. Exhale. What's the expression on the face like? I always know when people's bodies don't like poses because everybody gets like a constipated look. Constipated face. Roll in with the knee and the thigh. Internal rotation. Pressing out through the heel, but not moving the foot. If your leg starts to wobble or shake, that's completely natural. You probably will have some sensations building in the leg and they may not be very comfortable, but there's a fine line between sensations of pain and sensations of newness that come with working. It's new. What does this mean? If you're walking really funny later, that feeling probably meant not to do the pose. But we're becoming master interpreters. What does it mean? One more inhale and exhale, relax. From here, let's take the block away. Let's touch our feet together and open the knees for butterfly. Inhale, lifting through the heart. Exhale, allowing the body to completely soften and fold. Let's shake our head yes, and turn the head left and right. Maybe exhale from the throat. If there are any impingements in the hips or low back, maybe getting them to loosen up by way of relaxing the jaw. Jaw relaxation. Inhale, keep the head down. Inhale, begin to slowly come up. Last of all, lifting through the neck and the head. We're stacking the spine. From here, we're scooting off our perch, scooting to the front of our yoga mat, and unrolling the mat, keeping the block very close by. We might want to use it in a moment. Let's walk our feet over to the right edge of the mat. Let the knees come down and roll over onto the left hip. You could always do the opposite if this is hurting the hip. Let's walk ourselves down onto the floor with our hands. From lying on our sides, let's roll over onto our backs, coming into a constructive resting position. From here, let's grab our yoga block, place it between the knees and the thighs. With the feet flat on the floor, let's press our hands down flat outside the hips. Inhale, pushing down into the feet, lifting our hips off the floor, squeezing into that yoga block. We could always try lifting the toes, digging down into the heels, feeling as if we're able to pull or draw the heels back so that we're activating more of the muscles in the hamstring, supporting your SI joint. That's going to support the low back, the sacrum, pelvis stability. One more big inhale, push down and back through the heels. Exhale, slowly lower down. Let's take that block off to the side. If you wanted to at this point, we could experiment with using the block like a pillow. Let's draw both knees in towards the chest, holding on behind the knees or behind the thighs. Point and flex the feet just a few times. When you're ready, maybe point the toes. With toes pointed, straightening the legs. From here, pushing through the heels, point and flex the feet again. Start circling the ankles. Circling left and right with both feet. It is common to have small pops. There's movement of fluid, there's movement of air in the body, as long as it's not accompanied by pain. When you're ready, come to a still point and push through the heels. Let's take the legs out wide into a straddle. Having the hands on the sides of the thighs, let's pull the knees in towards the armpits, coming into happy baby pose. It is really traditional to reach up and hold on to the big toes in this position. However, if we reach up, we just want to be sure that it's not creating strain on the neck or the shoulders. Adding in a gentle rocking motion left and right, making our happy baby pose a little more playful. Noticing any tension in the jaw as we are continuing to manipulate the hips and pelvis. Let's come to center, finding our still point of comfort. Slowly let go of any hold on the feet or legs. Let's draw the knees in close, knees and feet touching. Lowering our feet down to the floor. Bringing our hands down, palms down, maybe just away from the waist. On an exhale, let the knees sway over to the left, keeping both shoulders as close to the floor as possible. Inhale through center. Exhale, sway the knees to the right, being mindful to press the left shoulder down into the floor. Inhale through center, active twist, still stirring up energy, twist to the left. Inhale, center, actively twisting that energy to the right, moving through the hips and the pelvis. Inhaling to center, finding a still point. From here, we may want to stretch both legs out straight. We could put the hands on the belly, or we could lie down still and turn the palms up just outside the hips. Moving into any position where we suspect we're able to embrace the most stillness with our bodies today. If you're feeling like your body wants to move into a different place, seeking comfort, go ahead and act on that. Noticing on the inhale, there's an element of expansion with the breath. Perhaps even returning to that 3-part breathing rhythm, breathing down into the belly, through the ribs, and up to the heart. Exhale, relax the heart, the ribs, and then the belly. Tuning into the lightness with that expansion on the inhale. And on the exhale, as we roll that breath out, the body contracts and we become very heavy. Pendulating between the two, tuning into that rhythm of expansion and contraction, and into the ebb and flow of heavy and light. Somewhere in between that spectrum, in between heavy and light, in between complete expansion and contraction. Somewhere we feel center. Sometimes we call it balanced. So we're neither here nor there, but just notice where you feel balanced. It could be with the inhale. At one point, as we observe each bit of breath, at what point do we sense, I have enough? And maybe we can take a bigger breath, but we know we have enough. That's where we are centered. We might notice it with the exhale as we let go. And then we squeeze a little more. So maybe the body goes, I've let go enough, but there's a little more there that I could let go of. Noticing any part of the body that may be harboring tension. And instead of trying to relax that body part, breathe into it. Send your breath to that body part. It could be tension between the toes. It could be tension around the eyes, back of the neck. Sometimes it's in the armpits or the inner ears. For the next quiet minute, as we continue to breathe easy, on every inhale, breathe in the sound ah, without having to make an audible sound. This is recruiting a voice from within. Inhale, absorbing the sound ah. Exhale, letting go with the sound ta. Inhale ah, exhale ta. To ever so subtly awaken the body, please become aware of your right hand. Becoming aware of the right thumb and the right middle finger. Curl the middle finger and thumb in to touch. Become aware of the left hand, left thumb, left middle finger, curling them in to touch. Maybe curling the other fingers, releasing any tension in the hands. Take in a breath here and let it go with a sigh. When you're ready, make a fist with the whole hand, both hands. Take in a breath. Exhale, release the hands. Let's wiggle the fingers and wiggle the toes to safely transition ourselves up to seated. Let's bend one leg at a time first with our feet flat on the floor and let the knees sway a little bit left and right. So we're just tapping into that energy of the pelvis and hip. Notice if it feels more comfortable swaying to the left or right, allowing your body to choose for you, eventually rolling over onto one side. We may want to stay there for a breath or two, keeping our blood pressure happy, hopefully taking care of any type of vertigo. When we're ready to come up, using our top arm, assisting ourselves up into any easy seated position. From easy seated, let's take the palms together and press the thumbs into the center of the chest. Keep the breath low in the body. Diaphragmatic breathing, maintaining stillness in the heart space, lowering the chin, and maybe even closing the eyes. Ah, ta. Inhale, ah. Exhale, ta. The word atta from Sanskrit translates to the word now, encouraging us to stay ever present, radically present. Stay in the moment. This is all that really matters. In the words of Mother Teresa, yesterday is gone, tomorrow's not yet here. Today is all we have. Let us begin. Atta. Let's draw in a deep breath together and let it go. From here, we can bow together in closing. Namaste. Namaste. Exactly an hour. Thank you. Well, we're all done. All done. So just a little side note. I know sometimes when we work the low back and the hips, there are a lot of muscles there that could be getting a little sore in the coming days. There's this thing called delayed onset muscle soreness. So maybe you don't feel it tomorrow. Maybe you feel it in the middle of the night, or you feel it Friday morning, right? But just remembering, you may not have hurt yourself, right? Sometimes we get those feelings and we go, ooh, something's wrong. We did work a lot of back and hip muscles today, so it could be a little achy. So just, continue to take care of yourself during the week and, pop an aspirin or ibuprofen if need be. All right, y'all are done. Well done. You're welcome. Good to see everybody. Glad to look back.